Danielle Weil is a copy and marketing strategist who helps expert business owners build a fun, profitable, sustainable launch engine through her LaunchFlow method. Since 2006, she's written dozens of 6- and 7-figure launches, generated over 170 million in sales for clients, and mentored business owners to break their own sales records while launching in a way that creates flow and momentum. She studied creative writing at NYU. She has 4 kids, a dog, and a super husband. Danielle loves coffee of any kind and mint chocolate chip ice cream. When she's not with her family or indulging in her favorite treats, she enjoys traveling the world to connect with her clients and colleagues. All right, everybody, let's welcome Danielle Weil.
The past 18 years, I've written words worth over $170 million. Dozens of 6- and 7-figure launches for clients, which is why I found myself in my husband's ICU hospital room, writing launch emails for a client because I had a deadline. The room is so noisy and yet way too quiet. I hear monitors beeping, I hear nurses chattering, but you know what I don't hear? I don't hear my normally talkative husband because he is silent. And as I sit there by his bedside, laptop open, frantically typing, I can feel my shoulders getting tighter and tighter. Ever since we got married, I've been the main breadwinner in the family. My husband was the lead parent for our 4 kids, diapers and naps, packing lunches, school projects, play dates, teenage crises. But in 2017, he had a health issue that put him in the ICU, and the doctors gave him a 50% chance of surviving it. I tried to imagine life without him, and I prayed harder than I have in my entire life. And all the while, here I am with client deadlines to meet. My client at the time said to me, "I'm so sorry about your husband. We need those emails by Thursday." So I shuttled back and forth from home with 3 girls, the youngest was 18 months at the time, to the hospital where I would talk to the doctors, be supportive for my husband, and then, not knowing if he would recover or how, shifting immediately to client calls, because I don't miss deadlines, ever. My kids were counting on me, my clients were counting on me, my husband was counting on me. I didn't have time to process, I didn't have time to feel, I didn't have time to sleep. The only thing keeping me going was bitter hospital coffee, and it tasted disgusting. That was the moment that I knew that I had to build my own thing and stop relying on client work. But did I do it? Not for a long time. It took years. I kept getting sucked back into the client work again and again because it was familiar, because it was safe, because it paid the bills, even though it did kill my soul a little bit. And I realized that there were 3 things getting in the way. Perfectionism, AKA, if it's not perfect, I can't launch it. I was groomed to be a perfectionist. When I brought home an A- on my math test, my dad would say, "Don't worry, you'll get an A next time, you're so smart." And just like so many other women who were raised to be good girls, that perfectionism came hand in hand with a deep desire to please people. Perfectionism and people pleasing. That combination is what had me hustling to keep my clients happy, no matter what, whether it's from my husband's hospital room, on vacation with my family, or while taking care of my newborn babies. Until one day I was sitting with my therapist and she said, "Are you sure you're a perfectionist? You're actually really flexible and adaptive." And I'm like, And I realized that even though I had high standards and wanted to do things well, when it really mattered, I wasn't a perfectionist at all. So I dug even deeper and I realized that I was confusing conscientiousness with perfectionism. A conscientious person is very different to a perfectionist. They strive to perfect things, their art, their craft, their work. On the other hand, perfectionists strive to perfect themselves, or more precisely, to repair an imperfect self. And once I realized that I wasn't really a perfectionist, that my entire sense of self-esteem wasn't dependent on what I created, it freed me to actually create. I knew I wanted to launch and create courses and programs. I sold them before before I created them, I delivered them live, and then I recorded them. Even if only one person was in the audience, that allowed me to show up as my best self because I was doing it for other people. There's that people pleasing. And it let me overcome the need for it to be perfect. Procrastination, AKA I'll launch this in February, March, June. I had things I wanted and I would tell myself, and I would find myself just not doing them. 2017, 2018, 2019, I was still in the same place. It turns out procrastination affects 20% of adults, and those who procrastinate tend to have higher levels of stress and lower levels of self-compassion. So the answer was to outsource my willpower to someone else, to hire someone to do the sticky stuff, to meet with friends who would hold me accountable, and to finally find the thing that felt good to launch. I was procrastinating because I had anxiety about the thing that I was supposed to be doing. In other words, the launch flow wasn't right. I had signed up for a $15,000 coaching program that promised the step-by-step solution, yet it required me to do these live stream videos on Facebook and Instagram Live. Here I am with 3 cameras, wondering where to look, speaking into the ether, not sure if anybody is listening on the other side, and it is so awkward and draining. I am completely miserable, and I'm certainly not going to sell anything that way, right? And it was actually making me depressed. And I realized after that I had been inside so many successful launches for other people. I knew what worked and didn't work, and I knew what would work for me. It was just a matter of trusting myself and finding my own way. Self-sabotage, AKA, I'm gonna do this for real. I promise, I mean it this time. I would create a plan, and for whatever reason, delay it. I'd get in my own way, talk myself out of it, listen to the voice that told me I couldn't do it, and go back to the client work because it was safe and familiar and paid the bills. Then I realized that a tool that I was using with my clients to help them discover their audience was actually something that I could use for myself. It's called the bridge of beliefs, and it's what the core of sales and marketing is all about. See, at the end of the day, sales and marketing is just about belief change, right? It's about changing someone's beliefs so that they can start to believe that something else is possible for them, that they can do something different, that they can be something different. Belief change is a really powerful thing. Now, I had always considered myself a writer, a creative. I learned to read at the age of 3 and basically never stopped. I always knew I was going to be a writer, right? Words are my superpower, I thought. But my dad and my grandfather were both old school salesmen. Get on the phone and schmooze, no part of it. I'm a writer. I'm a creative, I said, and it turns out I am actually a salesperson. And while it was easy for me to help others with it, it wasn't until I was ready to step into that identity and own that identity that I was able to get what I wanted. I had to create new beliefs. Perfectionism, procrastination, self-sabotage. Who has something they want to launch that has been delayed by one or all of these? Me too. So what's the answer? Well, I discovered it while I was sitting in a hotel room trying to figure out what my new program would be. And I knew it would be around launching, right? But then, suddenly, with some help from ChatGPT, the word flow came to me. Launch, flow. Launch flow. Launch flow is the combination of the momentum of a launch, the boost that it gives your business, with your own personal flow. It's the answer to procrastination, perfectionism, and self-sabotage. The LaunchFlow system has 5 flows, and when all of those 5 flows are in alignment, you can launch, you can succeed, and you can do it in a way that feels good to you and doesn't burn you out. The first flow is cash flow. So, are you selling the right offers at the right price points? The offer is 40% of your success, which means that if something is missing, you're basically going to fail out of the gate. And it's not just about your signature offer either. Sometimes it's about your upsell, your downsell, or creating a different offer entirely. My clients, Macy and Kat at Guide Culture, were fairly successful at selling their signature offer. But when we created a new low-ticket offer to add to their business, 30% of the customers who bought that lower ticket offer ended up going on to buy the signature offer. Sometimes it's the price, sometimes it's a bonus that needs to be added or changed, sometimes it's that the transformation of your program isn't clear enough. And I have a process that walks you through each step to design the right offer that will sell. Now the second flow is lead flow. Right? Lead flow. Do you really know your people? And can you speak their language and deeply understand their problems and articulate them? This is not about doing another client avatar worksheet where you guess what music they listen to and what car they drive. Who hates those? It goes much deeper than that. And most business owners actually haven't gone this deep with their ideal clients. And when my client Jen later went through this process of truly understanding the deep emotions of her audience, she was actually able to connect to those nuances, and she had her first six-figure launch. So the third flow is idea flow. And this is all about, do you have the right strategy and narrative around your offer and your launch? Is there a clear narrative and flow of big ideas to your launch? Does the strategy feel good to you? Are you creating enough real desire, urgency, and trust in your launch? Does your strategy match your strengths and the strengths of your business? Or are you just doing something because somebody told you to? Because there are a bunch of ways to do marketing, right? And they all pretty much work. So you can pick the strategy that feels good and is right for you. Just like hot pink might look good on you, but it's certainly not my color. Everyone has their own styles and preferences and strengths, right? Whether it is a webinar, a challenge, a podcast, or none of the above. A live launch, a hybrid launch, or a complete evergreen system. There is a launch flow for everyone. I have clients who love doing workshops, others who want only pre-recorded videos. Launching does not have to be the crazy up and down roller coaster that everyone makes it out to be. It can simply be another marketing tool in your business that runs like clockwork, creates trust and urgency, and gives you a sales boost whenever you want it. You can launch once a year, you can launch every 2 months, you can live launch an evergreen offer as long as it's working for you. Now the fourth flow is workflow. Okay, and this is the nitty-gritty details, the team, time, and processes, right? Do you have a master marketing calendar where you know what's happening for the entire year? Do you have a launch checklist so you know what needs to happen and when? A timeline so that you have plenty of time to get things done and you're not rushing. My clients' eyes pop when I hand them my master planning toolbox because it actually has all of these things in it and all of the shortcuts from my lessons learned. This is what saves you the stress of writing emails the night before they're supposed to go out in your launch and that feeling of overwhelm that causes us to have resistance around launching. Now the final flow is one that many people forget, and it is energy flow. Both in terms of how you are showing up and your confidence and the amount of energy that you bring into your launch. And this is the area that makes such a difference for my clients. Like Sophie, who went from hating launches to loving them and saying that she can't wait to do her next one. So, quick little exercise for you. Think of one thing that you will do for yourself after your launch as a reward just for doing it. It could be a spa day, a vacation, a special treat. What is that one thing that you will reward yourself with just for showing up? And knowing that you'll get that just for showing up and doing the thing, how will that actually make you feel during your launch? How will you show up differently? what will that make possible for you this time around? That's how energy flow can change the dynamics of your entire launch. Because if one of these flows is off, you are not going to see the results you want from your launch. But when you do have them all in flow and clear, the sky is the limit once you take off. And if you want to know about LaunchFlow and the process, if you want to know more about how it works, I would love to chat with you. You can book a call with me using the link below this video. Now, once I created LaunchFlow, I've been able to help so many people in a bigger way. I have much more freedom and flexibility, and I know those are buzzwords, but they're really true. I get to travel, I get to take the morning off, I get to take it easy when I want to. I'm running the business I want, and I'm helping other people do the same. My husband is okay, thank God, and we're happier than ever. I no longer call myself a procrastinator or a perfectionist. Sometimes I dabble in self-sabotage, but we're all still human, right? So my question for you is this: what might be possible when you find your launch flow and truly step into it?